Mr. Prabhubala, who welcomed us to this event this morning, Dr. Lalit Bhasin, who delivered based on all his years of experience across different organizations and across interacting with different institutions across the world, a very warm and a very evocative address which stresses the importance of reaching out and building relationships. Ms. Judith Ravan, the Consul General for the United States here in Chennai, Dr. A. Shaktivel, the President of FIO and Chairman Government Affairs, IACC, and God alone knows how many other avatars and hats he wears. Ladies and gentlemen, I think, yes, Mr. Bhasin hit the nail on the head when he said so early in the morning to collect a gathering of this nature reflects very, very well on the convening power of IACC here in Chennai. My real compliments to you. And likewise, I was very impressed to see the kind of program that had been drawn up for the day. It's a very, very business-oriented program. You start early and labor at a number of the key sectors which, at least as a state government, we have been very involved with, and sectors which we want to really push forward in the days to come. So I must thank the IACC Tamil Nadu branch for having taken note of many of the inputs. All of those sectors find place in the priority sectors that the state is looking at currently. So thank you very much for paying heed to that. I do not have to stress, the importance of India's relationship with the United States, or specifically Tamil Nadu's relationship with the United States and different states across the United States. We're all well aware of that, and we know. And I mean, just as I was sitting down on the dais, I had a quick chat with the Consul General, and I was mentioning to her that as part of the lead up to the Global Investors Meet next January, we've just come back from Japan and Singapore, as was pointed out, and there could be another ministerial level visit later this year to the United States. So she said, please do travel, but this time, don't just meet the diaspora. So that in itself gives you an indication of how important the Indo-US relations really are at a people-to-people level. And I was pointing out to her that, I've done this round of investment promotion meetings, say in 2004, 5, 6, and so on, and later now. And the one change that I see, and this is something that I pointed out to audiences across the United States as well, where we went last year, that the nature of it has changed. 15 years ago, when you went and met audiences in the United States, you met investors as a separate group, and you met diaspora as a separate group. And the diaspora were largely professionals, largely in certain areas. Now you see many more entrepreneurs, and also many more people of Indian origin and even Indians in very high positions in US corporates. This is something that we notice. So sometimes, the sort of in a Venn diagram, when the two sets kind of coincide, we meet investors and we meet diaspora, it just happens to be the same bunch of people. So that is how this accident takes place, and that's the kind of profound influence that India and US are having on each other's economy as we go along, and that's something I think is a good thing, but I still take her advice very seriously. We need to meet a much wider cross-section of possible investors, and that's the whole purpose of events of this nature. How do you then, bring more and more people together to understand more about the economy, understand more about what different states are doing? And let me take this opportunity, as mentioned by Mr. Bhasin, to actually highlight some of the things that Tamil Nadu would specifically needs to figure. The theme really is catalyzing sustainable growth, and let me start there. I think the one thing that Tamil Nadu is set apart, in a sense, is the various dimensions of sustainability and the various dimensions, what is very popular nowadays of speaking about the circular economy, all of these dimensions is something which Tamil Nadu actually brings in very sustainable, in a very substantial portion to its economic strategy and its growth strategy. We're the only state which insisted on zero liquid discharge. Mr. Shaktivel he comes from that area, he understands. Initially a huge pain point for the textile industry, the leather industry, and many other industries in Tamil Nadu. Today, the main selling point for all of those industries. Today, when they go abroad and talk to people, they say, okay, we produce in this state, and because we produce in this state, we are required to follow these environmental norms which are applied much more strictly than anywhere else. And you can be assured that the products that you use or the products which are sourced from this area are environmentally sustainable. So what, say, I recall discussions we had probably about 10, 12 years ago. At that point, it was being said that, we've made the state uncompetitive. We've made the state a place where you cannot manufacture in the textile sector anymore. Today, I'm proud to tell you that there are many textile companies who, after having established branches all over the world, in Sri Lanka and Bangladesh and Ethiopia and everywhere else, are coming back to Tirupur, coming back to Erode, coming back to Coimbatore and establishing their production facilities there, integrated facilities of manufacture. So while our initial insistence on following certain environmental standards may have been a little before its time, more than a decade ago, today that is a unique selling point for what the state has to offer. Likewise, you're all well aware that we are a state where the renewable power is more than 50% of our total installed capacity. About 33 gigawatts of power, 17 gigawatts are renewable and growing. Huge opportunities for further growth. With wind power, there is a huge opportunity for repowering the existing wind installations, which could potentially produce 3 to 4 times the current existing installed capacity. The generation could go up 3 to 4 times. We will have to make substantial investments in transmission and evacuation infrastructure to make sure that it is completely used, but the potential exists. Likewise, Tamil Nadu, the southern coast of Tamil Nadu, off the southern coast of Tamil Nadu, is going to be the prime area for offshore wind generation in the days to come. So maybe 5 years down the line and 10 years down the line, you're going to have substantial offshore wind power generation. There are many companies who are already manufacturing equipment, including American companies, who are manufacturing equipment for wind generation on that scale. They have been foresighted, they've established their facilities, hoping eventually to tap in on this market which will develop. For the present, given the location of the state, they just find it easy to export from here, and this activity is picked up, and equipment intended for renewable power generation is a huge area. And of course, the other major example which one has to cite is First Solar. And what it's going to do to transform the solar industry here in Tamil Nadu. So in that sense, where we source our energy from, again, is an extremely environmentally sustainable initiative. The way we use our water is environmentally an extremely sustainable initiative. We recycle water. Our policy says that we need to recycle all the water that is available, both domestic waste and industrial waste, to ensure that water availability in Tamil Nadu is used in the most sustainable fashion possible. And of course, the standard thing that everybody talks about is ESG. So I've dealt with the environment part, I've dealt with, now let me come to the social part. Data shows us that the female industrial workforce in India, the entire female industrial workforce in India, almost 50% of that is located in Tamil Nadu. Now, We represent about 6% of India's population. So we represent about 50% of India's female workforce in industry. Everyone thinks it's a wonderful achievement, but quite honestly, there's data which shows that participation, work participation and labor force participation by women is still going down. And if we have to grow as a state, then enhancing the workforce participation by women has to improve substantially, needs to grow substantially, and we have to figure out ways by which women are able to effectively participate in the workforce by providing whatever needs to be provided to support them. And this is where government policy comes in a big way. I remember a few years ago, the then president of the World Bank met our then chief minister, and he asked, saying, you know, usually governments are either business friendly or they are welfare oriented, right? I mean, they either spend a lot of money on welfare, they're not considered to be very business friendly, they are tax and spend governments, or they are business friendly in terms of low taxes and what have you, low welfare payments and so on. How is it that you have managed to balance both? So the answer, Pat, and this is not a rehearsed answer, this is not something that somebody gave in writing. The answer, Pat, is that there's no contradiction at all. One leads to the other. The expenditure on the social sectors, the expenditure on education, the expenditure on what needs to happen with women and children and what needs to happen in terms of nutrition and a whole host of other factors is what leads to higher quality human resources, and that is what attracts industries into Tamil Nadu. So it's really about the quality of the workforce, it's about the quality of the people. Yesterday, most of you would have seen the outcomes of the latest NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework, where the number of colleges in Tamil Nadu which rank in the first 100 has actually gone up marginally. It's now 34. And we have the largest number of top universities. So if 1/3 of the top 100 colleges in the country is in Tamil Nadu, right? 33% or more. Remember, we are still 6% of the population. The one thing where I think we do slightly better than even the United States is the gross enrollment ratio in higher education. Tamil Nadu's gross enrollment ratio in higher education is 50% plus. It's higher than even the United States. Now, how good is that? How bad is that is a different issue. There are quality issues, and what happens if you have so many engineers but not enough ITI graduates and not enough polytechnic graduates who will work on the shop floor. That is a concern and that is an issue. But the important thing is recognizing the nature of this workforce and recognizing the nature of this population and the talent pool which is available. The government's overall strategy is also to push our industrialization along two axes. This is what we generally call the 250% concept. 150% is the fact that 50% of gross enrollment ratio in higher education, which means you have a large population which is well educated and offers a big talent pool. So how do you use them? And the way you use them and the way you look at them is to see that you encourage investments in the knowledge sectors of the economy. You look at the more advanced parts of what needs to happen in terms of manufacturing. And there again, our partnership with US companies, other agencies is extremely strong. We have set up the Center for Excellence in Tidal Park with GE, which is to actually get more people into advanced manufacturing, support MSMEs who are looking for advanced manufacturing techniques. In addition to GE, we have two others, one with Siemens and one with Dassault Systems. So we are collaborating across the world with a range of institutions to enable that to happen. We are collaborating with the World Economic Forum to become an advanced manufacturing hub. This is an institution which is parallel to what has been established in the state of Michigan in the United States, so that we are able to actually look at the emerging technologies and work on those areas. We are working on global capability centers, establishing more of them to ensure that more of those companies bring in their design facilities, engineering design facilities, R&D facilities here into Tamil Nadu. You know, many of you talk about Ford. Their largest global design facility is now in Chennai, currently employing 10,000 plus people, possibly increasing to 15,000. There are many other companies who have followed that lead and who have come in and who are doing this. I emphasize that this is important because these are the jobs that many of the better educated people, better educated youth of the state want. This is the focus of the Chief Minister's Nan Mudalvan program, of trying to ensure that the aspirations of the youth are taken care of. While this is going on one side, there's another game or another part of the economy that needs to be addressed, which is the other 50%. Today, 50% of Tamil Nadu is urban. It is one of the most urbanized large states in the country. But it also means that 50% of Tamil Nadu is rural. And on the rural side, when agricultural income, when agriculture as a part of the state's overall economy is just about 11 to 12%, and if you have 50% living in the rural areas, you can imagine what it does to income disparity. If there's one thing that Tamil Nadu has done better than many other states, it is to address this income disparity issue in a significantly better way. And the reason why this is important is to then make sure that even in rural areas, the share of non-agricultural income actually goes up, which means that many of them are in a position to find jobs in industry, jobs in services, and not necessarily jobs in agriculture. Many of you have experience in doing this. You know, if you look at the fireworks industry or the matches industry in southern Tamil Nadu, or if you look at the spinning industry in various parts of western Tamil Nadu, you would actually find that many of them employ labor, including women labor, who come and work and go back every day, come from their villages. The quality of the road network, the quality of the transport network, the quality of the transportation services enables this. And that is something we need to build on significantly. And here again, you know, American brands and American companies have been very, very supportive. Let me just give you the example of Nike. Nike is trying to push many of their manufacturers into Tamil Nadu. We've had examples. Feng Tai have been here for a number of years. Pouchen is coming in. Hangfu is another company which is coming in. All of this is on a model where they establish a particular unit. There are about 20 to 30,000 people who work there, mostly women, who come in from different areas. And we keep each of these clusters at least 50 kilometers away from each other so that there's enough of a catchment area for the local labor. And that changes the face of the rural economy in those parts. Income suddenly, every woman's earning about 18 to 20,000 rupees. There is childcare provided. There is improved schooling provided, and all of that is taken care of. So I think that in itself is extremely empowering. So I'm glad to see that many of these sectors, in a sense, are covered in this entire seminar today that you're going to hold, and your discussions are going to cover many of these. In each of these sectors, we have significant investments, significant technology transfers, significant things that we need to learn from both American companies and Indian companies who have bases in America. And now, increasingly, I think none of this is a one-way traffic. All of this works two ways. Even our global investors meet, which is to be held on January 10th and 11th of next year in 2024, is intended much more as a networking event. It's intended much more as an event where businesses from all over the world come in and see what Tamil Nadu has to offer, come in and meet various other businesses who are based here, and understand from them what the possibilities are and what can happen. And all of that together is what actually leads to a sort of almost what I could call a chain reaction of further growth and further investment, which takes the growth trajectory up. We no longer feel that, if there is an Indian company which is investing overseas, it's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, there is so much positive feedback that comes from this nature of investment as well. There are many Indian companies who are already, including from Tamil Nadu, who are investing overseas, including in America. And there is a lot of positive feedback that gives to our system. So this is, I think, the real way in which the momentum of growth and the critical mass which is required to really grow this economy significantly will take place. Let me again thank all of you for this opportunity to be present here this morning to talk to you about some of the aspects of Tamil Nadu's economy. It's by no means an exhaustive presentation. There are many, many other aspects which one can cover, and there would be other opportunities to cover them. I just wanted to highlight some aspects. In the last two global investors meets we've had, the session, the country session which deals with the United States have been some of the most interesting and some of the most educating and best attended sessions that I've come across. This hall is full, but that hall was absolutely overflowing with not even standing room. So I'm sure this time again in January, we will have IACC and the United States government supporting us in the Global Investors Meet, and all of this should lead to that nature of success. The relationship between Tamil Nadu and the United States and the relationship between India and the United States will grow from strength to strength, and this is something which will yield extremely positive economic feedback to both countries. Thank you very much once again, and